Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Sadhguru at DMS School, Mysuru, Youth and Truthful Talk. So I'll say this one's a little bit weird. Only reason why is because it's 39 minutes and 13 seconds long, which I've already skipped some of it, which is just the intro with the music. I bounced a little bit just to make sure if Sadhguru has an introduction, if they did anything different. So, Sadhguru didn't really have an introduction, but I'm wondering why this is only 40 minutes. Or 39 minutes. I guess they must have removed the Q&A, maybe? They didn't record that part? I'm not sure. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be in 2 parts, though, because I talk too much, obviously.
On behalf of Regional Institute of Education, I once again welcome you to our wonderful campus. And before we start, I would like to give an introduction about what we are over here. I'm Anugraha Kurian. I'm from Hyderabad, and I'm a 4th year BA student over here.
I'm Snehali. I'm in 3rd year BA B.Ed. I'm from Bangalore.
I'm Vedavyasa. I'm in 2nd year BSc B.Ed. I'm from Anantapur district, Andhra Pradesh.
So let's begin our question answer session.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Well.
First of all, namaskaras to you, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, I have worked very much hard to secure the first rank in common entrance examination and place me here. But my brother says me that it's my destiny that has put me up here. Is it really my destiny or my hard work that placed me here?
Sorry, this is going to be the entire video, so if you don't like me pausing and trying to answer some of these questions, just to see if my answer matches up with Sadhguru, this is the thing that I like to do, even whether I'm recording this or not. It's just to see how my knowledge stacks up. I wouldn't like to say to people that, oh, it's destiny. Whether you worked hard on it or not, you would have been there anyway. Now, you look at, if you believe in karma, I like the fact what Swami Taratmadanda has gave an example is there's going to be hardships that comes your way that it's going to be, how to say, you cannot avoid. But how you handle those hardships is all on you. And I think Sadhguru would say something along the lines similar to that. What you do with your body, your mind, the things that you do in life, 100% under your control. External stuff, i.e. maybe potentially karma and stuff, you can't control that, but how you handle it is all on you. So this is destiny. Well, I would say this is destiny, but just you coming up to this point is all 100% you. How you handle external people, because being nice, they'll generally want to promote you. If you're an a-hole, probably not.
Where's your brother placed, huh? See, what people are generally calling as destiny is essentially what they end up creating unconsciously.
Yeah.
When I say unconsciously, as you sit here right now, as everybody sits here right now, there is physical activity going on within the system. There is mental process, there is emotional activity, and of course the life energies are active. Every moment, they are taking in hundreds of inputs, whether you're conscious or not conscious. So if I ask you a question, since this morning, from the time you woke up till now, of these 4 dimensions of activity, how much have you conducted consciously? What percentage do you think?
Few things.
How much percentage do you think?
25%.
You are very generous, man.
Oh wow, that was generous. They said four things outside. I figured one of them you'd had complete control of yourself. External things you have some control over inanimate objects. How you present yourself to other people, you can sway yourself in a good or bad light towards them, which influences them. Not control them, but influence them in a positive way or negative. 25% is generous?
It's well below 1%.
Oh! Oh, is he talking about
If
the
you
one…
walk from there to there, there will be 25 different kind of smells that you're not conscious of, that the body registers and records. There are 100 different kinds of sounds that the body registers that you're not conscious of. Like this throughout the day and night, in wakefulness and sleep, this is happening. When you are only conscious of less than 1% of your activity, definitely life will look like an accident. Hello? When 99% of the things that you're doing unconsciously, definitely life will look accidental. If the accident… See, it is so happened, somebody fell off on the street and had a brain injury, after that suddenly they started working their mathematics in a wonderful way. But that was only one. 1,000 other people who cracked their skull never recovered from that, or they died, or those who lived on much diminished. So, being accidentally fortunate is not the way to exist. So, whenever a pleasant accident happens, we say it's destiny. Some of you even say, God doing things to me. When did you make a partnership with him? I don't know. So, shall I tell you a story?
Sadhguru, full of story.
This happened. Sherlock Holmes, you know Sherlock Holmes? And Watson went out camping. And early morning, 3:30 a.m., Sherlock Holmes nudged Watson. He opened his eyes, "What? What do you see?" he asked. "Well, I see a clear sky and stars." "What does it mean to you?" He said, "Well, that means tomorrow is going to be a wonderful sunny day." Then he asked, "What does it mean to you?" He said, "It means someone has stolen our tent." So, we don't know what went missing, and something may fall here and there by chance, but that's not the way life works. If a human being doesn't take it upon himself or herself to make their own destiny, well, they're still having an evolutionary problem. That is, they're still not yet fully there. Because being human means this, that we can conduct our life consciously. Being human means this, that we can craft our life the way we want. But this destiny business is a good insurance to handle your failure. Whenever you fail, destiny.
No responsibility.
So this has been going on for a long time. This is not the fundamental nature of this culture. In this culture, we taught you right from ancient times, your life is your karma. Did we tell you or no? Nobody told you there is a God up there who will do things to you. We always told you, your life is your karma. This means your life is your making. No interstellar influence on you, it's you. Whatever, there are a million impacts on us, but what we make out of it is still us, isn't it? What is thrown at us is not in our hands. What comes our way is not in our hands, but what we make out of it is 100% in our hands. I must tell you this. When I first went to Coimbatore and we started setting up the yoga center, this is a country like this is very strange. Now they're all clapping their hands. But at that time, simply rumors, oh, they're doing drugs, they're doing something else, they're here to kill the wildlife, they're killing tigers, they're killing elephants, all kinds of things. Rumors going around, even media reporting these kind of things. Then 100 prominent people in the town meet, and then they say, this yoga is spreading like a disease.
That can be a good thing. Disease spreads pretty rapidly. But, you know, spreading like a disease and versus being a disease is two different things, so… Spreading like a virus, meaning it's just spreading rapidly. But obviously, they probably have a negative connotation to that. Spreading like a disease and being a disease at the same time. Because usually, I think most of the time when people say it like that, it's usually in a negative connotation, but at the same time, that's a good thing that it's spreading rapidly.
These are the words. We have to do something. There some young hothead says, let's take a truckload of people and pull down the whole thing, because the whole yoga center at that time was just thatch roof sheds. So they decided they want to come there and pull down the whole thing and be finished. Today, it is among the most prominent places in the country, okay? So, when they said this, there was an old man who is no more, a wise man. He said, see, you don't know who you're dealing with. I know this man. If you throw stones at him, he will build something out of those stones. Don't throw stones at this man. So, what comes at you, you cannot decide, but what you make out of it is your thing, isn't it? This is where your dint is. This is where you are to prove who you are, because you can't decide what comes at you, but you can definitely decide what you make out of whatever comes at you.
Okay, so… I would ask Sadhguru what he thinks about this. I thought about it. There are some people out there who genuinely believe in something, and they try everything in their power, almost no matter how ridiculous it is, to stop it, but yet they make it happen. Like, how do I say? I mean, I don't know what percentage of it is successful, but it just so happens to be, like, you try everything in your power to stop it, yet it still happens. So, falling down the stairs, I guess would be, or tripping over a rug. You say, like, I know that rug, I need that rug there, but I need to nail it down. I need to always step over it, be conscious of it. And you know, you nail it down, you tape it down, then all of a sudden, just one day, you just trip over it. And then you made, because you're thinking of it so hard, or just whatever it is you're thinking of, you try to do everything in your power to stop it, but you created it to happen. It wasn't going to happen to you, but because you believe in it so much that it actually does happen to you. I don't know if that's something that's been heard anywhere else, and I don't know how many people believe in this, and what percentage of those people that believe in this end up happening to them. It seems like it's something that's common, but I'm just wondering if we only hear the stories that people believe in it, and then it actually happens to them. There was another thing that he said. Said what you make out of it, 100%. Okay, anyways, next question. Again, I don't know why this one is short. I guess we'll find out towards the end.
Sadhguru, all through school and college, we are taught to give importance to ourselves, self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem.
What is this self-love? What's happening in your school?
In society, I mean in general.
Oh.
They teach us to give importance to ourselves to such an extent that we no longer know how to be humble. So can you please tell us how we can become humble again?
Ooh, well, I don't necessarily disagree with the self-importance thing. It's just how you present it. I do believe you have to take care of yourself. You have to look out for number one. Only because if you cannot help yourself, you cannot help out other people. Now, that varies. Giving advice is free. You can help out people by giving advice, something I like to do. But mind you, I'll always say this, that these are merely advices and you have to take which one you think is right for you. I don't know your entirety of your situations. No matter if I know precisely your issue, I can still only give you advice. up to you how you act upon it. I cannot puppeteer your movements and actions as you're following through my advice. So ultimately, you have to take responsibility for any advice you listen to. To be humble, I don't know how to answer that question. Because it's like, do people become? I can understand there are people that are just arrogant and self-important, and I don't think looking out for number one necessarily creates you to be that way. Now, obviously, it takes self-importance to an extreme degree, but I don't know if self-importance makes you that way. I think that's something with you. How do you humble a person like that? They have to learn a freaking lessons all day. I don't know what that would be, though. Let's see what Sadhguru has to say. That's an interesting question.
Oh. See, there is no need to be humble, or there is a need to be arrogant.
Of course.
Now that you're asking me this question, let me tell you. My daughter traveled with me, alone with me in the car, when she was 3.5 months old. I drove all over the country with this little baby in the car. So she grew up in many people's homes. I made one rule, because everybody, this is a problem with adults, when they see a child, they pounce on them like predatory animals, they want to teach something. It is such a everybody wants to teach 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D or Mary had a little lamb. I said, see, I don't want her to know ABC, 1, 2, 3, nor do I care whether Mary had a lamb or not. So nobody… one rule is you can play with her, nobody is going to teach her anything. So she grew up happy. By the time she's 18 months, she was fluently speaking 3 languages because nobody taught her anything, she's listening. She is not chanting Mary had a little lamb. No rhymes, no language, no mathematics, simply life. I thought I'll never send her to school, but only reason was because, her age group is important. So, she went to school, and when she was around 12 years of age, she came home one day, little disturbed about what happened in the school. Then she said, you're teaching everybody so many things, you're not teaching me anything. I said, see, I'm not known to do things unsolicited. Now that you've come, let's see. See, this is all you have to know. Never look down on anybody, never look up to anybody. Then she looked at me like this, what about you, kind of thing. I said, not even me. If you look up to me, you will completely miss who I am. If you look up to me, probably you will make a picture and nail me to your wall, but you will miss the whole point of who I am. You must look at me as I am, not looking up. Never look up to anybody, never look down on anybody. This looks very simple, but try it and see. In your mind, you've decided what is good, what is bad, what is high, what is low, what is virtue, what is sin, what is filth, what is wealth, everything. Everything is already determined. Once you've done this, there is no way you cannot look up at something or look down on something. What you think is bad, you will look down, what you think is good, you will look up. If you remove this and just learn to look at life for what it is, you will effortlessly navigate through your life, effortlessly. Right now, this is the problem. You are looking up to some people, looking down on some people and trying to be humble with them. There's no need to be humble. Treat everybody as rough as you treat yourself.
Golden rule.
That is, if you're treating yourself rough. If you are pandering to yourself, try with others, then you'll get tired, then you'll treat them rough anyway.
Oh.
Yes. So, this is simple. I'm telling you the same thing what I told her. It worked miraculously for her. Never look up to anybody, never look down at anybody. Just see everything the way it is. This is the fundamental of this culture. If you go to the temple, what do? Hi, What do you do? If you ever go to the temple, what do you do? Namaskaram. You see a man, what do you do? Namaskaram. You see a woman, what do you do? Namaskaram. You see a tree, what do you do? Namaskaram. You see a rock, what do you do? Namaskaram. A cow, snake, donkey, monkey, everybody namaskaram. Because fundamentally this is what it means. This is called vairagya. Vairagya means, this is not a… vairagya does not mean giving up your life and going somewhere. There's nowhere to go. Unless you go with that guy, outer space, they're going to send you out with a one-way ticket, I believe. Otherwise, where is there to go? Wherever you go, it's still life, isn't it? So, vairagya means this, literally means, vairagya means beyond color. That means you become transparent. If you're transparent, every dimension of life can pass through you, but leaves you untouched. You can handle life to the extent you wish. What you can handle, you handle. What you cannot handle, you don't. But in your life, if you do not do what you cannot do, that's not an issue. But if you do not do what you can do, you're a disaster. The moment you think something is good, something is bad, somebody is high, somebody is low, many things that you can do, you will not do in your life simply because you think it's bad, simply because you think it's low or high or whatever nonsense. So in our lives, this is what is most important because it's a brief life. It's a limited amount of time for the human potential to flower. In this life, here if you're choosing what to do and what not to do, no, everything that you can do must happen. What you cannot do, it doesn't happen, it's okay.
Okay, I guess this is where I'll have to pause the video, so this is the end for this, but I kind of want to talk about this last part with Sadhguru. This is very, I'll say a very tough one for me, because I think I understand some of what he's trying to say. Obviously, you should try to look at the world in, I don't know if the right word to say is an ignorant point of way, not knowing, or unbiased, actually that'd be the better one, unbiased as much as possible, without a bias, yeah. I mean, it could be confused to say as ignorant as well, if you don't know. Obviously, ignorance is not knowing. It's not necessarily… I know a lot of people say it in a negative connotation, but it's the truth. Ignorance is just you're not knowledge, or less. Well, obviously, people who listen to Advaita Vedanta and certain Hinduism, that ignorance is the greatest enemy of moksha or liberation. So, but it's true though, you know, what we're ignorant of. But to be unbiased, to be knowledgeable, to be aware, and to be unbiased is, I think, the way Sadhguru is trying to point it out here. It's kind of hard though, you know, to not teach your children things, basic necessities of life, math, adding, taxes. I mean, don't get me wrong, the different stages of life you teach these things, you know. You want your child to be as knowledgeable and not as ignorant as possible. So you have to kind of teach them things. Now, obviously, these things are going to be just things in life, not necessarily in terms of enlightenment. I guess my path is understanding. To understand things in life, and to understand not to put biases on these things, or to understand that you have biases as well. To have none as much as possible, and to understand your biases. That way, when you approach things, you can have an understanding of, okay, I am biased against this, I know this, so I shouldn't try to apply that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're going to have absolute control over your biases. If you do, that's great. If you don't, so long as you understand it and you try to overcome it. So like if I had a daughter, would I try not to teach her things, or try not to say what's good or bad in the life? That's kind of hard, you know, to say that. It's like there's a lot of bad things in the world, and there goes what Sadhguru was talking about. You know, when you start associating things with bad things and good things, You start doing things that you can't or can do. And I get it, but I think understanding why things are bad and why things are good will help you navigate through life as to understand why things are bad. Drugs, and, I'm wondering if this is related to what Sadhguru's talking about. If you say, okay, if you don't associate things with good and bad, what about drugs? Do you associate that with bad? And if the person takes it and enjoys it, do you promote that person doing it? Like, I don't know if that's the kind of direction he's going at, where you want to have an unbiased point of view, but you also have to understand there are things that are bad in life, and drugs being one of them. Obviously, there's different levels of badness to drugs, but generally speaking, the really bad ones are really bad for a reason. So you want to obviously teach people in general not to do bad drugs. Addictive drugs are bad enough, but they're not going to kill you or make you do stupid stuff in a very short amount of time. They may make you go broke though if you keep buying them, or like addictions in general. So it's not necessarily drugs in general, but addictions obviously are bad because they're the extreme versions of whatever it is that you want. Drugs, on the other hand, generally speaking, it's automatically going to be an addiction, and it's going to be pretty bad depending on the levels. But anyways, I'm curious as to what you guys think about the last portion of what Sadhguru talked about, especially if you had your daughter, if you had a daughter or a child, just a child or a child. If you had a daughter or a child, if you had a child, would you try not to teach them any mathematics, languages, or anything like that? I don't know. To me, I would disagree with that. That obviously I want to teach my child. I want to make sure that my child has the best possible outcome in life. And I do think that in America, children are not taught by their parents, but it's in some sense they're taught by their environment, which is not good in a lot of the areas and fairly decent in others. I mean, maybe Sadhguru, I wonder what Sadhguru would think about that. Like in America, there's a lot of the single motherhood is on the rise. Child out of wedlock. And you look at certain areas in America, it's pretty bad. And the children there are not learning from the parents because not learning from the one parent, whether it be the mother or the father. And the mother or the father has to go to work to provide. And when they get home, they're kind of tired and they don't really necessarily interact with the child. So they don't teach them values or lessons in life because they end up just shipping them to school and using school as like a babysitter. And what these children end up doing is they end up learning in the streets, learning about whatever just happens to be around them. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But let's just take the example of the bad and just say like gangs and stuff, violence in the streets. I wonder what Sadhguru would say to about that. I'm not saying that's like everywhere, but it's just an example, like it's a worst case scenario, which sadly it's not a rarity in America. There's definitely a lot of bad spots in America, and this does happen to children. It's sad. I'm curious as to what Sadhguru's answer would be. Like, he just said that he doesn't teach his children anything, and he just lets his child live the life. Well, these parents are doing the exact same thing to a degree, but it's not out of choice. They kind of have to. Well, I wouldn't say they have to, but they kind of are limited in the options that they have. They maybe a bad choice from their partner. Maybe the partner went to jail. Maybe the partner died. Maybe I don't know. Their partner left them. I don't know what it may be, and maybe they moved and they can't have the grandparents take care of the child. I don't know what the situation may be, but just so happens to be, let's just say, You know, they have no one. They're living there by themselves. Their parents are somewhere else in another state or whatever it may be, and say the father or the mother died, and it's a single parent. You know, and they can't really be with their kids 100% of the time, and the kids end up learning in the streets, which is, I kind of assume, what Sadhguru's daughter kind of did. You know, whenever he went traveling around the country, saying she grew up with many different families, but it's all been a positive experience, which is a good thing. But in America, it's not like that. In some parts of America, it's not like that. Heck, even in the good parts, if you're a single parent, there's a very high chance your child might not be, you know, turn out good. They say that single parent households, their children has a very high chance of turning to crime, doing drugs, failing high school. I don't know what else. Like just kind of not being successful. They have the reduced chance of succeeding in life. And succeeding doesn't mean making billions of dollars. Just succeeding as in making enough money, living a good life, and being a good person to a degree. But yeah, I would be so curious as to ask Sadhguru that. But yeah. Anyways, and let me know what your thoughts are on Sadhguru's last question here. That is something that's kind of it's hard to just completely agree with him, but I do understand what he's trying to say, I believe, which is that you should not influence your child too much. But my fear is I don't want my child to be also ignorant of the realities of the world. But I don't want those realities to completely influence her life and to have a kind of this is good, this is bad, and doesn't matter what the excuses are why these are bad. They're just bad no matter what. That's not really a good point of view. It's more along the lines say, this is good. Why? Because this, and this. This is bad. Why? Because this, and this. But some people do this because it's actually a good thing and not always bad. You know, it's kind of like it's not having this is only good and ever good. This is only bad and ever bad. It's kind of understanding why those things are and why sometimes a bad thing can be good and sometimes a good thing can be bad. It's never just black and white, I guess they say. So I guess I kind of understand that. I don't know. They're kind of maybe too afraid to ask the guru maybe a deeper question, or maybe you know, it never came up, or maybe they accept the answer that it is. Maybe that is the life and culture over there. You know, I don't know. Again, let me know down below about the second question. I'm curious. Is this something that you agree with 100%, maybe 80% you agree with it, or half agree with, or completely disagree? Let me know. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.